What's up, guys? Dotto here. It is a beautiful, beautiful Saturday here in Central PA. Oh yeah, look at that. Beautiful weather. There's the wife's mini truck and my truck. We've been here in this house, my wife and I, for about a year, and I've been doing a lot of work out in this garage. It was just a building with no lighting, no water, no electric, pretty much bare bones. And it's been a long time coming in the last year. So I got some of these cabinets that I'm going to show you here in a second, and I'm going to be refinishing them all in black, and I'm going to hang them up on the wall and try and get some storage space. So those guys are going to go from that pole about 16 feet that way. Hot out here. So what I did was I took all the top cabinets and all my bottom cabinets, and I laid them out because they're different widths. I have a couple of oddball sizes, so what I'll have to do is lay them all out on that wall right there and figure out exactly what the distance is that I have and what I need. This is what I figured. I have 6 bottom cabinets that are 30 inches wide. I have 6 top cabinets that are 30 inches wide. And that gives me 180 inches total, which is 15 feet. And I have 16 feet along the wall, plus a little bit for where the poles are. It'll be perfect. All right, so the cabinets are lined up, and that's the excess room I got. So that'll work out perfect. So, I mean, they're just roughly in right now. They're not completely plumb, but I'll probably end up shimming the bottoms so it's nice and level before I screw them all together into the wall. And basically, I'll make sure that the top is nice and plumb before I build my workbench top, and then the tops. So we'll be lining those up later. What I'm going to do next is remove the hardware, and that's just the drawer pulls here. So back behind each one of these is 2 screws. These inner screws here is what holds the handle on. And then the outside screws are, the little ones, are to hold the whole front piece of the drawer onto this. I'm not going to be taking that apart, but I am going to take the hardware off of this and the hardware off of the doors so I can sand those doors down and paint them up. So these cabinets came from a doctor's office, and the labels on the drawers and the doors were still on there. Check this out. Sterile saline, irrigation set, vaginal speculums. I don't think I have any tools that remotely resemble those, so I'm going to be taking those off before I paint it. As for these doors, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this handle off with those 2 screws, and then the bracket's going to stay on because I'm not painting the back of these doors. So I take out 1 screw there, 1 screw at the bottom, and that's done. I didn't have all the labels off yet, but I wanted to show you. I took all the doors off and all the handle hardware. I'll be taking the drawers out of these cabinets before I paint them. What I wanted to mention is I will be painting these cabinets black, and the end cabinet, this entire side is going to get painted because it's visible. The fronts are all going to get painted, obviously, but I'm not going to paint the inside of any of these cabinets because they're going to be screwed together and you're not going to be able to see that. I'm just going to be wasting paint if I, went that far. And here, what I'm going to do is, here I'm going to paint the whole front piece and probably leave these because you don't see them, and then the doors will get painted and it'll look nice even when the door opens. Then I got these cool little slide out drawers that I can put screws and bolts and things like that in, so it makes it really nice. Now, what I use to sand these down is a sanding block. This one's pretty used up, but it's basically a sponge with a sanding surface on it. And what I would suggest is using one of these because it contours. So whenever you use it on areas that are flat, it's nice to sand that down. And then when you come over here, I already sanded these. When you sand the doors and the drawer pulls, all these nooks and crannies, you can actually press down and it'll fill them in as well and sand them. Alright, the best way to get rid of the sanding dust is one of these guys. I'm on a air hose reel. It's got the switch here, and then it's got a long extension, and you just come right over to your cabinet doors and blow it all off.
This is the product that I use to refinish all my cabinets. Now you might say, why are you using rust kill on wood? And it says for metal substrates only. Well, guess what? It works perfect on all types of substrates as long as you prep it well. And being that it's a oil-based enamel, then it will last pretty much forever. I've put this on plastic, wood, metal, even glass. As long as it's prepped really well, it will stick. Trust me.
Alright, so here's the first panel and bottom cabinet painted. You can see that oil base makes it super nice. I got some of my doors painted up. Still got those to do. Got some of these guys finished. And all of these. And then I painted up the bottom. I didn't paint between them because they're going to be bolted together. Well, I'm really tired from all the painting and sanding and everything, but I'm really getting close. I wanted to show you guys what I'm doing for the cabinets as I'm bolting everything together and making sure everything's plumb. One thing to keep in mind when you are putting cabinets together is everything has to be level. Now, the garage floor here was poured a pile of years ago, and it's not completely straight, and the walls aren't going to be 100% plumb as well. So what I did was I got this level here and I sat it to make sure that front to rear it's level, and it wasn't. So what I did was I put some screws into that post there to lift it up, and I also screwed all the cabinets together and made a little spacer back here where I also put a screw to hold them together because the fronts have this lip hanging over and the rears don't. Then I just drove screws down here at the bottom and right there as well on the tops to keep the fronts nice and level. Next thing you want to do is make sure that you shim all the areas on the bottom to have gaps to make sure everything's nice and tight. I would use silicone or caulking to make sure everything stays in place. These doors came out absolutely beautiful, and so did the rest of the hardware that I painted. All the bottom cabinets. I just have to hi there. I just have to put the hardware back on and assemble the bottoms, and then we work on those top cabinets. Alright, so the cabinets, the assembly's coming along really nicely. I have most of my drawers finished, put all the handles back on. Now the problem is, not really a problem, but they all have these little lock things, and these last couple don't, which I'm okay with. But I have these two blanks that go on the end, right here. They just kind of clip in because this used to be a sink. But I want them to have handles on it just so it looks uniform. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this blank, and I'm going to put it back to back once I get this handle off to get my holes. And I'm going to drill 2 holes here exactly where they go from this other drawer. And I'm going to mount 2 handles for my extra cabinets so they all look uniform. As you can see, everything's assembled nice, painted, all the hardware is on. I did have some of the doors dry funky because it's been so humid here, and I'm just gonna leave it. It's for a shop. It's not a professional showroom or anything like that, but I just want to show you the finished product. The bases, I'm gonna pull all of those out and cut little 1/8 inch plywood to cover that, and I'll paint it so it all looks uniform. Plus you can see where I shimmed it underneath, so it's nice and level. But all the drawer pulls and doors look absolutely amazing, I think. The last couple are missing those holes for the keys and locks, but that's okay. So everything looks good. I'll just pretty much let that dry some more. It's a little tacky, and I will work on the top cabinets, which are over here. It's a lot of work. You have to have a lot of patience, but it's so worth it at the end, because when this whole setup is finished, it's gonna look badass. Stay tuned. If you enjoy this episode, hit the like button below, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this.